Hey everybody, it's Glenn back with another Clash Royale analysis video. We got the NoTilt League going on. Team Liquid Academy versus INTZ Gaming. Ialshihi versus EnderG. This was a really unique game because it was about who was going to be dictating their pace in this game. So really not much going on at the start. Kind of players just jockeying for position. Ialshihi comes out with the first really noticeable card, Dark Prince, and EnderG brings out the tank to try to stop it. Meanwhile, that was a distraction for Hog, and Mini comes out. No more drive-bys, but Mini still takes care of Hog Rider. And really much nothing doing so far. But we now know what EnderG is going for. He's going for the weak side lane Hog Rider push. What can Ialshihi do? Goes with Sparky in the back, so it looks like maybe Goblin Giant's going to be coming up front. And that's the case. So here's this bomb tower that I think is really ideal to get both of them, but we're going to have to see what else is coming. And as we see here in just a moment, it drops in Royal Delivery, and Royal Delivery's really been one of the top cards in Season 11. So I imagine as this video comes out, there's going to be changes. And a whole Goblin Giant Sparky push with Rage gets wiped out thanks to that bomb tower and really the delivery. I know there were other cards played, the Bats and a Knight, but it was really that delivery that set up everything else. So the Rage gets wasted, and here comes Hog, and you're wondering, well, what does Ialshihi have that can stop this? And pretty much nothing. So EnderG has a fun time with that Hog on the tower. Mini comes in, has to stop it. That's just you have to play something to get rid of that Hog, or else it's going to go down to under 1,000 HP. So I don't want to say that was a wasted mini, but you really have to think about what was happening in that situation here. A Knight push with Bats coming in as the Sparky's played on the other side. So again, this is the type of play that EnderG is looking for. He is looking for what Ialshihi is doing and being reacted to it. Obviously, this is a game where, it's tower defense, and so it does pay to understand what your opponent's doing and let your opponent go first. But really, this was the key element for EnderG. Wait until Ialshihi does something, and he has to do something because if you think about it, he has to play Sparky way in the back to set up for Goblin Giant, and then the magic can happen for Ialshihi. That's a lot of time for EnderG to understand, okay, where's he going to go? Because he has to play something to set up for another big. He has to play a big to play for another big. There's going to be that gap in between where EnderG can say, okay, I'm going to go attack now. And that's why he comes down with Hog on the left side. Hog gets a hit on the tower. Meanwhile, we got to deal with the Sparky on the right side, but this left side gets hit with Rage. That was really interesting. So we got to rewind that. Why was Rage played on the left side instead of getting this Sparky to push up here on the right side? And I think looking back at it and examining this game, it was really because of Mini right here. Rage gets played right as Mini gets played right on the edge of the Rage spell. So the key here was to get this Mini to the bomb tower as fast as possible and take it out while these bats are distracting the Princess Tower. And if Mini can do her job and get to the bomb tower and take it down, then Sparky has a free lane here, and Ender either has to deal with this mini, which is going to be right here, going toward the Princess Tower over here, or he has to deal with Sparky, who has a full lane right here on the right side. This is it's a really tough decision. So what happens is, yes, those minions get the Princess Tower. This knight comes in right between the bomb tower and this mini. So now the mini has to attack this knight, and the delivery comes in, stops this Sparky. I think that player right there with that delivery is what a lot of people are talking about, not specifically delivery versus Sparky, but that key play right there in stopping that Sparky push is what a lot of people are talking about in terms of, okay, maybe rail delivery is too strong. It got a major buff for Season 11. And I know there's been talk about toning it down or making some changes to it. But I think that play right there, I think, was really kind of a microcosm for what we've been seeing for Season 11. So now we have this reset. Bomb tower is safe. Who's going to go next? And I think we really have to think about, like, who's going to be making the move first. It really is EnderG. Now, I talked about Ialshihi, making the play so EnderG knows exactly where to go afterward, because Ialshihi has to build up for a push. But Sparky is now out of rotation at this point. So do you want to go with the Goblin Giant on the back and then do a quick cycle then to get Sparky? I don't think that would work, especially with 30 seconds to go. And you have to try to get something to the tower. So it's now on EnderG to really make the next move and say, okay, we're going to go this way, and you're going to have to stop it. So EnderG goes with some Spear Goblins, and they get wiped out. Musketeer in the back for Ialshihi. So perhaps we're going to see a Goblin Giant at the bridge. Nope, it's delivery. And now we have a push here, and this is really good. We have a Hog on the left with Earthquake and Spear Goblins, and delivery on the right with a Musketeer that had to make a decision on what to do. This is it's really a tough play for Ialshihi in this spot, because EnderG is set up really, really well. I mean, you got two towers here that he could go after at really any point. He understands that, Ialshihi really has to make a decision on one of the two towers while saving elixir to make his own counter push. Because he can't just spend and spend and spend, and then he doesn't have anything for Goblin Giant or Sparky. So really, the great play was to go with Mini first and then Musketeer, because you have to bring Mini to stop Hog. Musketeer gets played at the center here, and you have to look at, okay, where's Musketeer going to go first? You would hope that Musketeer would go on the right, because you have 3 Spear Goblins, plus you have Mini here that is already taking care of Hog Rider. So you can just leave these bats alone. But the bats are the closest thing to the Musketeers, so she goes after the bats first and then turns around, goes after the Spear Goblin, then turns around because the bats are now the closest thing to her. So she turns around again. And it's after all of that, you have a healthy Musketeer, but she really was just kind of like not committed to one side or the other. It was just kind of like, okay, just do something, and we'll see what happens after that. So now we're down to 971 on the right-hand side. So ideally, EnderG will probably say, okay, it's worth it to go to the right side because that's one less hit on the tower that I have to do with a hog. You can bring an earthquake, but really it's about, okay, get hog to the tower and do as many hits as possible. He has to do essentially one fewer hit on the right side here. Plus, you have musketeers going to the left. So we can see what he's going to try to do on this right side. Brings Dark Prince to try to meet musketeer, but here comes Hog, which again we're talking about playing and understanding what the opponent's going to do first and then reacting. And EnderG saw this very well. Plays Hog on the right, the weak side, and Ialshihi has to come up with Sparky here. This is really his last chance, but with Earthquake here, now he can just cycle, and that's going to be the game. There was really only one time in this game where Ialshihi had the opportunity to play Goblin Giant and Sparky at the same time and make that notable push. And it was well in the beginning, and that got stopped immediately with EnderG's defense. So the presence of mind by EnderG to understand exactly what Ialshihi was going for, and then realizing, okay, there are times when it's best to just wait until something happens, then go on the weak side, or it's up to me to make the move and dictate tempo. And I thought EnderG did this really, really well in this game. I mean, it's, again, we have another game that was almost 50-50 based on the lineup history. If we were to look at direct, everybody uses these same two lineups. It's almost 50-50, and in a almost similar situation, it's almost 50-50 here. So great job by EnderG in this game, just understanding exactly what was going on and playing Hog really well. And delivery also, it's some great defense with the use of delivery in this game. So congrats to EnderG on this win here. I'm going to end the video right here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button wherever you're watching this. Be sure to hit the subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.